You're watching Matket Fatafat right here on ET Now. I'm Obina Kapasi. This is the show where we get you a crisp and comprehensive wrap of all the stocks that you need to watch out for in terms of big movers and shakers. We have a team of research analysts joining in for the same. But before we do that, I just want to flag off the headlines at this hour. It's a show of strength and in the equity markets, all the poll jitters have been brushed aside as it's the day 2 of the rally and the index is firmly above 10,600 with all sectors in the green. Very smart moves coming in for the markets today in trade. Meantime, we have a new RBI governor in the form of Kanta Das. This is something that has caused the rupee to come off lows. The yields as well have softened. And of course, for the street, we'll be watching out for is the new governor's stance when it comes to bearish issues, whether it's liquidity, the softness of his stance when it comes to individual cases of banks, and of course, not to mention the monetary policy. Moving on, state poll verdict is out. Congress is in pole position in 3 out of 5 states along with all the supports coming in from other parties. CLSA believes that Modi, however, is still the favorite to win the 2019 elections. Citi says a relaxation in GST norms is not ruled out post the rejig in the leaders in individual states. There's a new boss at Mint Street and that is something that is causing Yes Bank as well as Kotak Bank to rally today in trade. The hope is, however, that the new RBI governor could perhaps have a softer stance on individual cases that are currently plaguing both of these banks. That's a wait and watch approach, of course, that most market participants will look forward to when it comes to these banks. But for now, it's a rally coming in. Some pressure, however, for Dr. Reddy's, which is one of the sole losers on the Nifty. It is under stress as the US court ruling has essentially delayed the sale of one of its key drugs, and that is Suboxone, which has been under the eye of the storm for the last couple of months. This is something that's put pressure on Dr. Reddy's. Well, those were the headlines at this hour, but like I first flagged off, markets certainly in strong fettle. Good gain seen over there. We are about 10,650 in fact as we speak. So let's identify all those stocks that are buzzing and how today in trade. We have with us Vivek Iyer, Cheryl D'Souza, Siddharth Bhamre, and on the technicals Gaurav Ratnaparki as well will be joining in a short while from now. Good morning to all of you, and I'll start off first with the India Bulls pack. This one certainly is gaining, and how. In fact, the entire group is one of the top gainers in the Nifty 500 index, with India Bulls Realty actually taking the lead. India Bulls Housing and India Bulls Ventures too are some of the top gainers today in trade. Yes, like I flagged up earlier as well, with the new RBI Governor Kanta Das at the helm of affairs at the central bank, it'll be interesting to see as to what his stance is when it comes to the liquidity position, wherein there were fears and that essentially rubbed off on housing finance companies. We did see NBFCs and HFCs crack off late on account of liquidity fears. It'll be interesting to see what's the stance that RBI Governor Kanta Das takes in light of this entire issue. And these stocks today are seeing quite a bit of an uptick come by today in trade. Gaurav Ratnaparki, I just want to check if he has been able to join us. Not yet. But Jindal Steel is a stock that he has actually flagged off, and what an uptick today witnessed in trade. Now he believes that the bounce is possible till 180 rupees. Currently, of course, the stock is trading at 157 odd rupees. It's a massive up move that we are witnessing today in trade in the steel major. Almost about the last time I checked. Okay, yes, it's still sustaining above that level, 6% higher just in today's trading session. So a bit of a recovery attempted by the steel major after seeing a massive crack come by in the last couple of sessions. Jindal Steel as well was under pressure along with the rest of the steel stocks today. However, it is showing an uptick. Okay, another stock we want to flag off is Motherson Sumi. Vivek, there is that buzz around China reducing tariffs. The concomitant impact would be felt on Motherson Sumi.
Well, that's right. You know, mostly it's a sentimental impact given the fact that the company has a couple of plants, especially in the US, and the US facility of this particular company actually supplies a lot of raw material as well as auto ancillary parts to the US automakers. Mostly it's mainly a sentimental impact, and along with Motherson Sumi, you're actually seeing Tata Motors as well as Bharat Forge too showing a good upside today. What they're actually going to do is that they're looking to cut the tariffs from 40% to 15%. So definitely Motherson Sumi is seeing a relief rally post the severe beating that the stock has seen recently.
Well, along with the United States, even Motherson Sumi today is rejoicing on this move that was, by the way, announced by Donald Trump earlier on, and the stock is at the day's high as we speak, 5% higher. Cheryl, over to you then. Dr. Reddy's is the only smidge of red we are seeing today in trade. What's the reason?
Yes, Mubina, like you said, the Dr. Reddy's is the sole nifty loser in today's trading session. But that's on back of the news. The US court ruling has delayed the sale of Suboxone, one of the key drugs for the company. The ban is going to remain till Indivior appeals in the lower court, and they have time till December 20th to file an appeal. The analysts are saying the 10% of the profits for Dr. Reddy's actually comes from Suboxone for the year of FY19. That's the reason why the stock is under pressure today.
And it's going deeper in the red. Now it's 3.5% lower at 2,620 rupees. Do remember this drug has been in the doldrums for the last couple of months. Let's see what comes out of that verdict. Okay, moving on, an auto stock in focus, TVS Motors. Siddharth, what are your observations in this up move we are seeing here?
Mubina, if you would have noticed that auto sector otherwise was underperforming, but in today's trading session, be it auto stocks or auto NC, they are making a comeback. In fact, today most of these stocks which have been in a downward trend are showing a decent up move, especially in mid-cap space. Now, TVS Motor, why? Because the stock is moving above its strong resistance of 560, and it has been consolidating. It has not been correcting much, and this breakout is backed by very strong volumes in cash market. In fact, last 4-5 days average, if you take, then today's volume is 4 to 5 times of that average. So you can understand what kind of interest TVS Motor is garnering. And at the same time, we are seeing formation of long position, nearly 20% rise in open interest, which means that this is a price volume breakout backed by strong formation of longs, and hence a lot of traders are seeing further upside in this name.
Okay, 1.7% higher for a TVS Motors. I think we've been able to connect with Gaurav Ratnaparty. Gaurav, thanks for joining in. NBCC has witnessed quite an uptick come by today in trade, along with an intermittent spurt in volumes. I would flag off that they have won an order from the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. That's the Government of India. It's for 172 crores. So that as well may be contributing to this rise. But on the technicals, what are you witnessing?
Yeah, definitely. NBCC basically has fallen significantly over the last few weeks. However, recently it has entered short-term pullback mode. The pullback has occurred from a crucial falling trend line, so it is likely to sustain in the higher territory. When the daily momentum indicator is showing positive divergence, which adds to the weight of evidence in favor of the bulls. So I'm expecting this pullback to continue further. And on the upside, I'm expecting this stock to test its crucial daily moving averages, which are placed near 56-57 levels.
All right, 52.5 is where NBCC is currently trading at. Moving on to the next stock, that's Phoenix Mills. An update coming in here. They have entered into a share purchase agreement, or an SPA, for sale of the entire equity this realty major owns in its subsidiary Insight Mall Developers. The entire equity is going to be sold to Island Mall Developers. And on the back of that, you are witnessing some bit of an uptick come by in the stock price, though of course not to mention it's getting a lot of support from the way the markets in general as well are moving. The sentiment certainly is in the green. So Phoenix Mills is well participating in that market rally. But here's a news piece as well. They're going to be selling off the entire equity in Insight Mall Developers in favor of Island Mall Developers. Okay, moving on, cement stocks certainly have been gaining. Ambuja Cements, Vivek, is one of them. What's the call here, Vivek?
Well, if you're talking about Ambuja Cements, Mubina, what's actually happened in both Ambuja Cements and ACC, along with the fact that both of these companies, part of the Lafarge Holcim Group, both of these companies have been very, very active in actually ensuring cost control synergies pour in. The one concern that analysts had, and the one criticism that a lot of analysts had as far as both of these companies, was that there was no capex. Last 10 years, Holcim Group had never put in any kind of money as far as the Indian operations was concerned. Well, that's changed today. Yesterday, post the analyst meet, the company has come out with, they've actually come out with a press release saying that they're significantly scaling up operations in India, especially Madhya Pradesh, as well as their plant in Singri. And this is why, if you're looking at ACC as well as Ambuja today, both of the stocks are doing quite well in this session.
Okay, 1.8% higher for an Ambuja Cements, and you are seeing that trend across the cement space today. Okay, more from the pharma names, and Cheryl, Unichem Laboratories, they've received an approval for one of their tablets.
Yes, Mubina, Unichem is under focus today on back of the ANDA approval from the USFDA for tadalafil tablets that they've got. Let's remember that the stock has been under pressure for the last 10 days, actually snapped a 10-day losing streak in today's trading session, up about 1.6%. The drug that they've got the approval for is a generic version of Eli Lilly CRS, and that's one of the reasons why the stock is moving in today's trading session.
Well, good going on being able to pronounce the tablet name, Cheryl. Most of us are always struggling. But yeah, a little over 1% higher for Unichem Laboratories. Siddharth, Equitas, along with the rest of the financial space as well, this one is buzzing. The buzz is, of course, with respect to dual listing norms, which the RBI governor could perhaps announce his stance on. But yeah, an uptick coming by. What are you observing?
Dual listing stance and a lot of other things, people would be watching out what RBI governor would say in his forthcoming meets. But purely on the internals, we are seeing that this 105 support is emerging as a very strong support. And last 2 days, we have seen a strong bounce back in Equitas from those levels. Mubina, we spoke about auto space doing well. Even financial names are doing well, be it NBFCs or some of the financials. And Equitas within that name is adding a lot of long formations, and that's the reason you are seeing that despite gap up opening, stock is sustaining at these higher levels because the cushion which long positions are providing.
4.5% higher for an Equitas today in trade. But keeping it with pharma, Gaurav, you're flagging of granules. What's the strategy you'd recommend to viewers?
Yeah, granules in its previous multi-month rally, that is from June to September, form an impulse on the upside. The same has been retraced to 78.6% retracement mark recently. And over there, the stock has formed a bullish outside bar in the last session. So it's about to start a fresh move on the upside. So the daily momentum indicator is on the verge of a fresh buy signal. So I'm expecting this stock to head higher. From short-term perspective, 92, 95 will be the levels to watch out for. Whereas from medium-term perspective, the stock can even test the level of 100.
Okay, granules today gaining momentum, 4.8% higher. Stock number 12, then Shree Cement is as well gaining along with the rest of the cement pack. But yeah, over here there's additional news with respect to CARE Ratings reaffirming their rating for long-term bank facilities worth 1100 crores at AAA. So along with the rest of the cement pack, this one too is gaining momentum. Vivek, over to you for a Hero Moto. What's the observation here?
Well, Mubina, if you're looking at the entire two-wheeler space today, Hero Motors, that spoke about TVS Motors and Bajaj Auto, all of them are actually doing extremely well in the session. So now, what most of the brokerages are saying, especially Deutsche Bank, they're saying that now the entire focus of the government ahead of 2019 elections is going to go into the rural space, and they believe that there's going to be a lot of money being poured in as far as rural India is concerned. On the back of that, most of these companies that have a significant amount of their revenues coming in from this particular space are their top picks, and which is why if you're looking at most of these names doing quite well in the session today.
5% higher for a Hero MotoCorp. And Cheryl, another pharma stock in focus, Aurobindo?
Yes, Mubina, Aurobindo Pharma is in focus today on their JV with Shandong Luoxin of China to manufacture the nebulizer inhaler for the countries China, India, China, US and European markets. That's for what they will produce a nebulizer inhaler for. But if you see, Aurobindo has cooled off from the day's high currently.
Well, yes, but still 0.8% higher at 740. Finally, Siddharth, before we take a break, Canara Bank?
Well, again, at a risk of sounding repetitive, not in terms of stock, but in terms of parameters, because most of the beaten down names are doing well moving in today's trading session. So here too, 235 level for Can Bank has emerged as a strong support. And from that support, we are seeing last 2 trading sessions or 3 trading sessions, stock has done pretty well. Here too, long formations are there. And within PSU basket, Can Bank is one stock which was correcting because of, long unwinding or on lesser volumes. Generally shows a uptrend or uptake on a large volume and formation of long position. So within PSU banks, though PSU banks as such sectorally is not doing that great positionally, but within that, Can Bank is a stronger name.
Okay, so Can Bank is a bit of an outperformer among PSU banks. We'll take a very short break right here on ET now. Come back, we'll continue with the countdown. Welcome back. You're watching Matket Fatafat, and we have a new RBI governor on the block officially. Shaktikanta Das saying that he has assumed charge as governor of the RBI. I do remember he was, of course, in the position, excuse me, of Economic Affairs Secretary for the last 2 years, 2015 to 2017. IAS Officer of the Tamil Nadu career, worked on GST implementation as the Revenue Secretary. He drafted the IBC as Economic Affairs Secretary. He's amended the RBI to set up the Monetary Policy Committee, and now he's at the helm of affairs. of the central bank. Lots on his plate, undoubtedly, whether it's with respect to sorting out the liquidity crisis, whether it is with respect to improving relations between the central bank and the government, and of course, finally, maintaining the continuity of monetary policy as well is something that everybody's going to be watching out for when it comes to the new RBI governor. So lots on his plate. Let's see over time as to how he's able to settle things down and bring some more stability when it comes to the central bank. Okay, so as Min Street gets a new boss, let's continue with a countdown on Matket Fatafat. We'll also try and cut into the press conference with Shaktikanta Das. But yeah, for now, continuing with the countdown, Gaurav, Jubilant Food, what are you observing over here and what's the strategy you would recommend?
Jubilant Food was towards the end of October found support near 1000 mark and thereon entered sharp pullback mode. Pullback retraced exactly 61.8% of the September-October fall, and thereon the stock has started sliding down once again. When the short-term momentum indicator is now in line with the fall, so I'm expecting this stock to head lower towards its Delhi lower Bollinger Band, which is around 1150. And if that support gets broken, then the stock can once again tumble back towards 1000 mark.
A smidge of red in the landscape of green, that's Jubilant Food, down 2.5%. Gaurav strategy, you just heard that out. Okay, Kotak Bank rallying, and this is on the back of the news that you just heard with respect to Shaktikanta Das, who's taken charge as the governor of RBI. The hope, of course, for the market is that there would be a softer stance that perhaps could be adopted by the new governor on various issues. So whether it's Yes Bank or Kotak Bank, both of which are facing very case-to-case issues, the hope is that perhaps the governor could take a softer stance. Kotak Bank, however, is off the day's high, is just gaining about 2%. Moving on, Vivek, Balkrishna Industries, tyre stock, what are you observing over here?
Well, Mubina, if you're talking about most of the tyre stocks, post the rally that they saw a month ago, all of them cooled off a little bit along with the market correction. But what actually has happened is that rubber prices, the key raw material for most of these names, they continue the downtrend. They're hovering near multi-month lows. The other thing, of course, that helps margins. The other thing, most of the chemicals that are associated with the making of tyres, all of them have cooled off quite significantly. So the prices. So if you're talking about most of the input costs for tyre companies, including Balkrishna, Apollo, they're trending much lower, which helps them maintain their margins much higher. On the back of that, have a look at tyre stocks today, and especially Balkrishna are surging quite well in the session.
4.2% higher for a Balkrishna Industries. Cheryl, Tata Sponge, what's the updates here?
Tata Sponge as well as Usha Martin will be buzzing in trade today. Mubina, CCI has approved the acquisition of Usha Martin's steel division by Tata Sponge for around 4,300 to 4,700 crore rupees. And that's the reason why Tata Sponge as well as Usha Martin is buzzing in trade today.
Okay, we're flagging off a lot of pharma stocks today in trade, or rather today on the show. Siddharth, you have Lupin on your radar?
Well, yes, Vivek spoke about Dr. Reddy and it has a news flow and that stock is now down by 5%. But Lupin, on the other hand, has been a underperformer. And today we are seeing that after one day's bounce, again the downward trend is starting. Fresh formation of short positions over there. In fact, 840 levels where 200 DMA exists, that level previously or a few weeks back was acting as a strong support. And that very level, Mubina, has now started acting as resistance. So that's the reason, traders are taking some comfort that 840 resistance is there intact. Stock is under pressure, and that's the reason you are seeing shorting.
1.5% higher, fresh formation of short seen in Lupin. Moving on, Gaurav, Tata Chemicals, you have a sell-on rally here. Why is that?
Yeah, that's right. For the last couple of sessions, the stock is forming a pullback after a 5-wave decline on the Delhi chart. The pullback has so far retraced 50% of the fall and has reached near its crucial Delhi moving averages. So failure near current level would mean a next leg on the downside. In terms of wave structure, it would be another 5-wave decline. So a failure near 695 can drag the stock down towards 640.
Okay, moving on, here's a stock that has been rallying and posting a very strong up move yesterday and today as well. That seems to be continuing, and that is Corporation Bank. With this rally that we witnessed in the last two trading sessions, that's yesterday and today, the stock has actually surpassed the 200 daily moving average, now at about 2880 odd rupees per share. And the volumes as well in today's trading session are quite high, 2.8 times the last 5-day average, 3.6% higher today in trade. So following up on that almost 10% uptick that we saw yesterday in trade. Godavari Power, Vivek, this is a stock we don't flag off very often. What's the reason for this one rallying a neat 18%?
Well, that's right. So the stock, after falling continuously for 5 straight sessions, last 2 sessions has been doing reasonably well. The main reason for that is that the pellet prices that we keep talking about when we talk about Godavari Pra, finally after many months of falling and many months of underperformance, is seeing a slight up move. We understand that the pellet price is currently at 6,700 levels, and again this is something that actually aids these companies. So Godavari Power Ispat in the news today, up almost 18% in the session.
Okay, so snapping that 5-day fall is Godavari Power. But on that note, unfortunately, we are completely out of time. So thanks to all of you for joining in. Gaurav, to you as well for recommending your strategies on individual stocks. We'll come back at 1:30 for a brand new edition. But until then, stay tuned. Markets at Noon comes up at 12.